Life has its ups and downs. When things get tough, how do you react? Can you bounce back ready for the next challenge? I'm Liz Morris. Join me as I talk to leading experts, as well as ordinary men and women, to find out how we can all build resilience.
Well, resilience is one of the hottest topics in business at the moment, and it's because it's how we move from not good to great. It picks people up where they are and it takes them right through to elite performance, and that's why it matters. That's the kind of organisations that are going to not only survive but thrive.
Lack of resilience is leading to increasing levels of stress and mental ill health in the UK. Currently, negative stress is the #1 reason for workplace absence. Almost half of all illness is mental ill health. Last year, we lost 70 million days in the UK due to mental ill health, a 24% increase since 2009. And the total bill for our lack of mental health and our lack of ability to bounce back is estimated by the Government Chief Medical Officer at somewhere between 70 and 100 billion. So, how can we learn to be more resilient?
There are three main components of resilience. There's control, which is all about performance and efficiency. There's well-being, which is all about the mental and physical welfare of the individual and the team. And then there's bounce back. It's the ability to come back from setbacks. It's how you recover quickly. It's when you take a risk, it may not always work, that's why it's a risk. And then you can pick yourself up and carry on. It's not going to lay you out as flat, and it won't lay you out for as long. You can recover more quickly, and that applies at home and at work.
How can any one of us put these principles into practice? Let's look at the principle of control. How can we gain a sense of control and choice in a demanding 24/7 world?
We've all got exactly the same 24 hours in the day, 7 days in the week. So it's about prioritising. Imagine your life as a jar, and you imagine that into this jar you've got to fit all of the different things into your life. So you've got work, you've got family, you've got friends, you've got hobbies, you've got time for yourself. You have to symbolise all these different things in your life. You have some rocks, you have some little stones, and then you have some gravel. So what happens if we fill the jar with the gravel denoting the less important things in life, then what happens is there's no room for the big rocks.
Right.
If we put the big rocks in first, then what happens is the stones and the gravel, they find their way in, because they do. All that stuff that sucks up our time.
Recognise that you can't change very much. But when you start changing the bits that you can change, it has a ripple effect. It changes the way that other people operate around you, and the space gets bigger. Don't obsess about the things you cannot change, because it just makes you miserable. There are little things that we can all change, always, for all of us. There are little things. I think there are 3 areas. I think you look at the work, and you look at little things that you can do around flexing hours, just making time, for example, to get home 2 hours early on one day. I think the second area is what you do when you are at home. Just use the time you're already using in a slightly different way. And that brings on to the third thing. That's where the relationship comes in. You do have to build trust. It does take time. And that, for me, I think is the most difficult thing, actually.
There is a growing body of evidence that honest, trusting relationships at work are key to successfully being able to find flexibility, which then enables you to find the time to develop your physical and mental well-being.
Having trust from my employer that I'm going to get on with the job that they've employed me to do, and I'll do that effectively, but in a way that most suits my lifestyle. I'm quite active, so I know for a fact I'm a morning person. I'm much better if I exercise in the morning, so if I come into work an hour later, but I'll work later for an hour that evening, that suits my lifestyle perfectly.
But when we're at work, we tend to feel that everybody else is coping and everyone else is managing, but actually you don't know what they're doing or what their circumstances are. I was able to go to my boss and say, I feel this conflict and this is not working, this is not good for you and it's not good for me. And by having that honest conversation, we were able to look through the policies and say, what does work? What could take some of that guilt and that conflict away, that puts you in a place that when you're working, and when you're at home, and you get the best of both.
We rely on our brains to make good decisions, be creative, and build strong relationships at work and at home. Yet often we pay little attention to our brain's well-being. By making small changes to the way we live our lives, we can re-energise ourselves mentally and physically.
To relax, so I play guitar and I spend a lot of time with my family. I've got 2 young children. So
I do some yoga sometimes, and I like walking a lot.
My daughter, who has been doing the junior park runs, challenged me to run 5k with her at the Race for Life, and I couldn't run to the end of the street. And now actually we run as a family, and it gives me some headspace to think things through, think what I've got to do for the day. It just gives me that space to kind of energise myself mentally and also physically.
But what happens when you need a quick well-being fix? Is there such a thing?
I think my top tip would be to take about 3 minutes to breathe. Sit quietly and listen to the sound of your own breathing. And as you focus on the sound of your own breathing, start to follow your breathing all the way from where the air enters your body, all the way down to your lungs and abdomen. And then start to follow it again on the way out, in as much detail as you can. Just spending even 3 minutes doing that will create a much better mental and physical state of well-being than anything else. And it only takes 3 minutes, and we can all find 3 minutes.
And when life throws you a really big curveball, how can you bounce back quickly, ready for the next challenge?
Normally a caring role can be a gradual type thing whereby they deteriorate quite slowly, although with my wife I was thrown more or less into caring role overnight. I think it more or less would be like an avalanche. You know, 1 minute it's fine, next minute you're embedded in all this rock and debris, and thankfully the company helped me in that situation, because otherwise I would have been totally floundering. It was quite funny actually, because I think my greatest sense of support is the person I care for, my wife. She supports me as well as me supporting her. Even though she has a lot of health problems, she is my rock.
Developing relationships is known to be the strongest buffer against life's stresses. Your partner, your colleague, your manager, and your friends. As well as developing good relationships, what else can we do to train ourselves to bounce back?
The learning, knowing what went wrong or how to do it differently next time, is one of the most important parts of bounce back, but so is belief. So it's having the confidence to know that if you don't make it, it's not the end of the world. You'll get over it, you'll get past it, you will rise again, and you will achieve something else. And that's a really important and exciting element in resilience. In terms of bounce back and control, actually there's something that covers both of them. And that's positive rehearsal. Athletes call it getting in the zone. When you've got something big to do, like run for a gold medal, the last thing you think about is all the things that could go wrong. You see yourself crossing that finishing line, you see yourself winning that medal. See yourself doing what you need to do and doing it well. See it in detail, go over it about 1,000 times, and you'll be amazed at how much you'll elevate your performance. And if you don't get the gold, somehow you'll recover more quickly and you'll be ready to run again the next time. Luckily, we can think really, really quickly. And if all you need to see is yourself in rather speeded up time, going over it and over it and over it, you can do it really, really fast. By the time you walk out front, say, to make a presentation, you could have run that presentation at least 20 times in your head just on that walk.
Increasingly, organisational leaders are recognising the positive impact of building resilience and seeing the positive results.
Resilience is an interesting one because it's about people feeling they can overcome and get over those peaks and troughs that come along in business and in life. And really it seems like a big ask, but we build it into the way we work. So flexibility is one aspect, but regular one-to-ones with managers, the compassion, the fact that we set realistic goals. In addition, it's the simple things like being able to listen to music at work, actually having the company invest in or support activities outside of work. So it's building that culture of enjoyment and fun within the workplace. Enabling employees to be flexible in their approach to work, but also to bring their best selves and to do the best they can, means that we've actually been shortlisted for 12 digital awards so far this year in 2014, and we've been successful and won 3 awards. That's so far this year.
And at an individual level, the results speak for themselves. I'll leave the last word to Georgie.
I am a stroppy bugger if I don't run in the morning.
If you want to find out more about how we can help you or your team develop a positive work-life balance and resilience, please get in touch with Working Families. Working Families is a registered charity.